Hello, everyone, and welcome to round one of the 2021 Impossible Creatures World Cup. It's your host, Bchamp and Will. We got
Hey, how's it going?
a great game, France-3 versus Africa today. This is going to be really, really exciting. And Will, who do we got on France-3?
So France-3 is Paul IC or Paulik. I'm not quite sure on the pronunciation of that. And Anto. Both these players, for me, are unknown entities. I don't know anything about either of them. And then on South Africa is, sorry, not South Africa. Africa is Fate, who appeared in last year's World Cup with Ryan, and Joseph, who also appeared last year's World Cup with Freeman.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a really, really exciting matchup. Joseph, as we saw, pulled off one of the largest upset in last year's World Cup with some crazy antics, and hopefully we can see some really cool stuff this game as well. Also, this map, High Tide, is a new addition to the World Cup map pool this year. It's going to be pretty exciting, has a 2v2 feel, but it's a largely water-based map. So that'll be
Do you know,
really
it's
cool.
interesting that you say that. I've never really thought of this map as particularly water-based, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of land. I mean, okay, there's water in the middle, but from my experience on this map, a lot of it is played on land.
Yeah, I do see where you're coming from there. I think that when I play this map, I use a lot of swimmers and try to control the water for these geysers as well as these islands in the back.
Hmm.
Um, and because pure swimmer artillery can be really, really strong on this map as well. So we have the French team on the bottom, Pollock on the left, Anto on the right, and then we have Fate. His username that he's playing under is 1, top right, and Joseph's partner is top left.
Just following on from what you said about Joseph earlier, I'm really excited to see like some more Joseph strategies. So as well as the infamous things that he pulled off in last year's World Cup, some of those have actually kind of become, I don't want to say staples, but really common in like modern gameplay. We often see things like the Joseph fence coming out, which is a little bit unusual, but surprisingly more effective than you might imagine. So I'm really interested to see what else he's going to bring. Um,
I, I
just kind of fun to see like players like that bring out stuff that you don't see.
Yeah, it looks like Joseph already going level 2. Fate deciding to go for advanced structures early.
Anta and Paul have both got their generators too.
Mm-hmm. And nice expansion by Joseph, just reaching level 2 now. Paul should be second. Anto's behind him, and it looks like Fate just content to stay at level 1 for now.
Well, he's got the clinic up, so I wonder if he's going to be going for grid early.
Yeah,
He
that
is
or
going
I'm
level
wondering
two.
if he's doing a hench heal with a landing pad. Let's
Ah.
see if hench heal comes out of this.
Or perhaps he was just going for structures so we could get more gens for grid. So
That could
obviously the gens are cliff gens. Taking his water gen quite early as well. It's interesting with the expansions on this map. What sort of expansion do
Wow,
you find
Paul,
is
I
more
see already
effective?
going level 3. Sorry, cut you off
Wait,
there.
really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So this game might just go straight to level 5. No early aggression going on right now. Except I'm still really excited to see what happens with this gyrocopter. Looks like he's going to go and take generator early on.
I'm really like Paul is just hard gone for level 3.
So is Anta going level 3 right now too.
Not even gone for an expansion, just straight up gone for taking up quickly.
Yeah. And it looks like we have some of the first units of the game by Anto. This little, what is this, a warthog blue ring octopus?
Yeah. We're seeing cuttlefish garden spiders from Paul.
It looks like Fate is actually taking the Cliff Geyser of the enemy base, so he's going to be taking Anto's Cliff Geyser, which is going to be pretty exciting. And we
I like
also,
to see that. That's really nice because cliff geysers are, I don't want to say difficult, but they're more of a pain to take because either you've got to gyro drop units or rely on having flyers or artillery, flyers or hover. for your melee, or rely on range units which don't really do the same damage that melee units typically do. So taking this cliff guys is going to force Anto into doing something a little bit different to try and take it back, which I like to see. I think
Yeah,
that's a good
definitely.
play.
Both teams content to just mass up units, not really go for any aggressive plays. Joseph, not going level 3 yet, but Fate is. And do we have any level 4s coming out from the French team? Looks like not yet.
Huge expansion from Anto, taking all of his henchmen from his lab over to the mid expansion point.
I mean, looking at this here, even though the French team has the tech advantage, I'm still giving the economic advantage to the African team. So I'm feeling pretty good for Africa right now, especially Fates. He seems to have been expanding really, really well. Has just a lot of resources and a lot of map control. And he's sending over our first attack of units. This is going to be our first aggressive play of the game.
Seen coyote dolphins and anglerfish poison frogs. It's quite a nice range, actually. I quite like these.
And it looks like Anto not responding yet.
It's going to really hurt Anto's economy as well, because he doesn't have any henchmen back at home. These are
Yeah.
all of his henchmen.
Oh no, that is not good. That is not good for Anto, and he's not doing anything to defend. He's just... his henchmen are just falling.
Oh, and Joseph's coming in. He just scouted out the island, saw nothing was there, and he's going to see the henchmen now in the water for presumably launching an attack of his own from the
Oh, this is
south.
a two-sided attack. This is not looking good for the French team.
But they are going to run into quite a decent mass of French units. If there's some team synergy and Paul moves his units to support Anto, this is clearly a French win. Perhaps just the level 3s alone from Anto will do the job, which I think they actually have done. The cheetah tuners and warthog octopus.
His Warhog Octopus are actually level 2. Oh, and the Cheetah Tuners are level 3. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And garfish lobsters as well coming out from Paul. These
Oh,
are
those are
interesting. Armor
spicy.
friendly with
I
barrier
like
destroy.
those a lot. Oh, they're so cute.
And Fate now going for his own cliff geyser after having taken as many as possible around the map.
Are these crepes? That is awesome. I love to see crepes. We got some anteater piranhas over on the left side starting to come over, and they're going to be raiding an expo that does not exist. Paul IC has not really expanded outside of his own base that much.
Anto is still yet to make more henchmen.
Yeah, I think there is a large experience gap, it seems to be, between these two teams. Joseph and Fate both playing in previous tournaments and having a good experience with competitive gameplay. And the French team, like you said at the beginning, more of a mystery.
Yeah, I didn't really know what to expect. Also seeing some dragonfly termites come out on the side of the map.
Yeah, and that Infest can do a lot of damage, because at any level, even for a little guy like this, it'll do 1500 total damage of Infest. So that's pretty strong. And
Yeah, I mean, that's you can take out an unupgraded generator. Rods, workshops all fall to one Infest unit.
yeah,
So
and I
we're
mean,
gonna see a France attack in mid, but Anto's really he's gonna have a really hard time unless he can get some more henchman production. It looks like he's relying on converting his electricity to coal. Because he is still producing.
but he has no henchmen. Wow. Level
This
3s.
economic advantage is just going to be too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, really good job by Team Africa for having a really good map control, expanding all across their labs, their previous island or the rear islands, and just building up a ton of units. I don't really see a way that France is going to be able to hold this back. There's too many units. I mean, they're all like Paul. I see does have all these units down here, but
It's just the
he's just
economic
sitting on them.
advantage.
Yeah, he's
Paul
just.
can't replenish them as quickly as Joseph and Fate can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Africa are going to have a significant advantage here because they can just keep bumping out units.
Yeah, especially with these level 4s now coming in, it's just gonna make short work of anything that that the France team has.
Really quite unfortunate to see the porcupine, or quite unfortunate from a French perspective to see porcupine range come in at level 4 because obviously both the alligator hippos and lobster garfish are both quite high defense combinations. So the perforate piercing damage is going to be huge.
Well, Paul IC did end up taking this generator back at the far right cliffs.
Hasn't taken the far left one back there. Ooh, Barb's coming in as well. That's going to really help. Now we're going to see all the pulls units move in. Are we going to see the perma frenzy?
Ooh, there they come in. But I don't think that's a good frenzy. I think this is actually going to hurt them. You want to use frenzy when you are doing you have more units that are doing damage than taking damage,
Hmm.
and I think he's just outnumbered. Wow,
Yeah, they're
all
going
those
to fall.
cuttlefish did a good job though.
Yeah, a lot of those cuttlefish remained camouflaged until quite late on. They were just out of attack range still. The one
Wow,
infest unit around the air chamber, I like that.
and that's gonna be Joseph
Oh,
at level 5. That is something that I hope I never see in a game against that team, because that is gonna be scary. Joseph signature level
are we
5
going to see
unit. We'll
them
see
though?
it. I hope so. I really do. But I don't know if he'll need them. I mean, really, he has all of these ram piranhas that are going to be just eating up these henchmen. Wow, yeah. There's no way that France is coming back from this. It looks like we have some. What are these? Raven
Raven
scorpions.
Scorpions?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but they're not faring too well against these porcupine range.
No, and Paul's popped the lab day early as well.
Oh no, yeah. These rods are going down to these rams, and trickling in these garfish lobsters is not going to be very much help
No, the worst thing he
against
could
just
do
this.
now is frenzy.
Yeah,
He needs
and
to make the
this.
most of that high defense and regeneration and pray. That's all you can do.
Yeah, there's just so much going on right now. I mean, Team Africa is extremely dominant. This is an amazing showing on high tide. It looks like they
Oh,
had more preparation and just more experience on this team. Lab defense coming out from Anto and an advanced structures research.
big massive flyers coming in over the mid now from Joseph. These
Oh
are
dear.
noble dragonflies. 43 damage is huge. Even at level 5, that's a big number, and they're just going to tear through any remaining structures. So, interesting game. I think High Tide might be a map where we see a lot more level 5 play or
Hmm.
higher level gameplay.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see the first game of High Tide in the World Cup. We are seeing level 5s.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of space to move around, a lot of different expansions, and a lot of resources on this map. So,
Mm.
uh, um, this is definitely something that we expect to see more. And what do you think that France can do on their map pick against this team? They're gonna have the next map.
So, Africa seemed particularly strong because they're allowed to expand and gain quite a heavy economic advantage. If France can put them on a map where expanding is difficult, or perhaps where France are closer to Africa, then they can pressure them more early game and prevent this massing and booming from occurring.
Hmm.
As to what map that might be, I'm not too sure. I think Glacier might be one example. It can be quite difficult to get more than one, maybe two expansions going on Glacier. I don't know how well they'll know it though. That's the next question.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
I think really, if you're France, you've just got to pick your strongest map and see where it goes. See where it goes.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. So I mean, amazing showing by both Joseph and Pen of Fate. So well done. We can briefly run through the post game here. you're
Map
watching at
one
home, then
goes.
definitely feel free to pause, check things out. If there's any units that you're interested in.
Map one goes to Africa then. So what about you then, B-Champ? If you're Africa at this point, why do you take France on map two?
Well, I guess rather it's going to be France's pick, right? So the loser picks.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so yeah, if I were France, then I think I'd go to something like Face Off or Crag.
Oh, yeah.
They
Face off a crack. That's a good call.
Yeah, I really think that those are going to be some stronger maps where you can, or for them where you can get at that early game. You saw them both get to level 2 fairly quickly, and so maybe they can pull off a faster level 2 and so just mass a bunch of level 2 units and go for a quick kill.
I have to say I was impressed by how quickly they got to level 3, or they fully committed to the level 3, and I was expecting like we might see some early level 3 play or something like that, and we just didn't see the aggression come out.
Mm-hmm.
We saw plenty of unit production, but without the aggression, it's you're kind of playing a waiting game until you're attacked. Being on the defensive the whole game is difficult. It can be difficult.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm gonna go check on teams. Let's see, are they gonna go? Or are they kind of come back here?
I believe they must be discussing things and looking at the scores. Perhaps making some army adjustments.
All right, so
James
the
Bond speak to them.
winner of this this matchup is going to go on and play Sweden. So Sweden's going to be a really strong team with possible Toast and Elias, and that's going to be the first game is going to be on Crag. So that's going to be a really interesting matchup. We haven't seen Crag yet in this tournament. There's actually a new version of Crag if you've played on it in the past. The new Crag is just a remastered version, has the exact same feel, really small, really fast, really cramped, but it's very fun and it has a lot of interesting gameplay. The loser,
Yeah, Crag's one of my favorite maps to play for 2v2s.
yeah, definitely. I like Crag a lot because it is just really interesting. And it looks like the loser of this game is going to go to the loser's bracket to play France-1. So, France
France one
won.
being Freeman and Kazewa, is it?
No,
No, it's Fiend and
France.
Funky. Fiend and
Yep.
Funky.
Yeah, France-1's going to be Fiend and Funky. So, we'll possibly even get a France versus France matchup if Africa can win this next game as well.
I mean, it's possible we might see Joseph against Freeman. We could see Africa versus France 1. No, France 2, sorry. No, we can't. I'm lying. Ignore me.
Not quite yet.
No, there's not enough caffeine in my caffeine stream.
Yeah, but if that happens, if France-3 goes to the loser's bracket, they'll have to play France-1, and then the winner of that game will actually play France-2. So there's going to be...
I was right.
Yeah, so there's going to be...
In a roundabout way.
In a roundabout way, yeah. So there is potentially a lot of France going on in the loser's bracket.
Just waiting on the players now to join up. So Anto and Paul are in the lobby. Just need to let them join the game.
And
so what do you think of Paul and Anto for their first outing then in the World Cup?
Yeah, I was actually expecting them to play a little bit stronger. Because we did see Kazuha and Freeman. Kazuha, Freeman, and Anto and Paul, I think, are all friends in real life. And we saw how amazing Kazuha was for his debut, not playing really any impossible creatures previously. and not being familiar with the maps, but still being an extremely strong player. So I was expecting some of that from this French team, um, but still they were able to play the game really well with fast level 2 times and um, being able to mass a lot of units. They just didn't have that map presence, I think, that you see from more experienced players with quick expansions, really taking control of resources and defending them a bit more properly, like we did see the Team Africa do.
Yeah, and that's one of the issues with. Oh, it looks like the players are getting a network error. Let's see if we can get a different host. Then I think.
Yeah.
Um, so that's one of the things we see with newer players, or rather, not newer players with unknown entities. You just don't know what to expect from them. Like you could get a Kazewa who just looks like he's played IC for 10 years, or you can have people who sometimes aren't quite at that level, and it's just difficult to see, difficult to predict how those games are going to go.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. I'm gonna message.
I've just messaged Fate asking France to host.
Okay, awesome, awesome.
Looks like the game is up. I wonder if perhaps Fate was hosting that game, and with his ping, that was causing some issues.
Yeah, I noticed he's on a different ICO account as well.
Yeah, it looks like he's made a swap very quickly, making things a little bit less confusing for the viewers.
Yeah, and for the casters.
Yeah. Okay, there's 4 people in the game.
Let's hop in here. So, army composition wise, what did you think of the two teams?
Didn't really see too much going on with the armies. I like the player flying infest. That's definitely something that isn't really something we see often. Infest in general isn't particularly common, but it is very, very devastating because it puts so much pressure on the defender to manage to roll things to stop them being destroyed, as well as fight off any potential attack. So it's really damaging to an economy, which I thought was really interesting. But good use of things like Grand Piranha, crepes from Africa. I think France bought some stuff that is unusual but still effective. The garden spider cuttlefish was pretty nice. I like the garfish lobster. That's a really spicy one I might check out. But we just need to see more of it. We need to see more of the compositions, more of how they work together, and see how they're going to interact against Africa's combinations, really.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think we're gonna see something similar come out from Joseph again. I've played with him a few times online, and he generally likes to do very fast level 2 units, and but then gets level 5 and he loves those dragonfly narwhals, and so and flying in lab rushing with the camo is a really strong strategy for players who aren't prepared for it. So I think we can expect to see him use that a few times in this tournament.
Yeah, that dragonfly narwhal was kind of nice as well. I think Fate likes to use orange, by the way. You might want to just
Oh,
switch off that. Yeah, the dragonfly narwhal, like that high damage and camouflage, means it's really, really good for raiding. It means you can just take down henchmen, take down buildings super quickly without being spotted. So there's a lot of potential for like flyers to come in, and there's a lot of maps in the map pool that really favor flyers.
yeah,
You look
and
at things like Tyr, for example.
I mean this map Maya. I think Maya favors flyers a lot because of just this center portion is really susceptible to attack by flyers, and also you can launch attacks from there as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
all right, are you ready?
Oh yeah, that was me holding the game up.
Let's do this. So I think that this could be a potentially good map for Team France. They're going to choose it as their counter pick. So uh, I would say that, in my opinion, the strategy here though is to go straight for mid. Mid is so powerful with so many resources that I really think you got to go for it right away. What do you think?
I used to always go mid. Recently, I've been experimenting with going to the nearest expansion first. I'm not entirely sure that it's been working out for me though. So I think maybe mid might be the correct play. Just asserting that dominance on the map, being able to. So, I mean, even if you're fighting a losing fight, you're fighting a losing
I
fight
don't even think I've been in my lab.
closer to the
This
enemy,
island was
which
meant to
gives
be
you more
nice
time
and
to
taken
react at
care of
home.
already.
All right.
So yeah, I think mid might be more powerful.
Here we go. We got France up on the top team. Anto not yet moving anything there as henchmen start going. And then we have Africa on the bottom, Joseph and Fate here. Now with a ICO username that is a bit easier to read or to remember. So,
You mean you
um,
don't remember the number one?
no, I don't. I have did very very poor in elementary school remembering my numbers and letters, and I mix those up all the time.
Yeah, I kept counting like 0, 2, 3. Damn, I've missed one. Uh, I always wondered why you got to those levels before I did. It's because you're skipping them.
Yeah, I skip level 1 every game.
Anta looks like he's going for a very early generator at top.
Yeah, early gen right after the rod. Interesting rod placement by Pollock.
I don't hate that placement by Paul. It's on his way to the generator, so perhaps if it was like building up some extra coal, get another hench queued up at the lab before he get the rod down. I don't hate that.
Early level 2 from Fate. Wow, that is coming out very early.
Paul's just
And
gone for
did
that
he just
structures.
kill one of his own hench? And what?
Oh no, he did.
Fate accidentally killed one of his own hench, I believe. When trying to destroy his creature chamber, I think he killed both.
I think he dragged over and selected both. Yeah,
That's unfortunate. Looks like Paul and Ansel are really starting to do a bit better with map control, going straight for these geysers on the edges of the map. It's looking pretty good. Fate's now at level 2. I think of multiple people at level 2 actually. Um, but Fate's gonna be coming in with the center chamber with something aggressive, I hope.
so Scorpazelle is on the preview, and it is a Scorpion Gazelle.
Wow.
These are nice. I like
Yeah,
these.
I do like these a lot actually. So very similar to Cheetah Scorps, but a little bit slower, but I
A
think
little
going to
bit
be
bulkier,
just
right?
as just as effective. I think. And how is the French team going to respond to something like this? We got more rods coming up, but it's not much in terms of defenses. And
Again, not enough henchmen.
yeah, Anto with a bunch of idle henchmen just kind of sitting here, not building a workshop. Ooh,
I think what we saw last game was a lot of converting elect to coal at the workshop from Ante, and I think he's waiting until he's got enough coal so he can build a workshop at this expansion point. Whereas ideally, you'd want to see him mining that coal or the coal in his base so he has enough for the workshop.
yeah, in this attack, there's no defenses on the French team from this for all these Gazelle Scorpions. Fate might just take this right here if they can't do anything about it. And it looks like there is a workshop coming up from Anto, which is going to help him with the conversion. Not mining with his henchmen, though. Ooh, that's not going to be good.
Yeah, I was seeing Paul fight back there. What are these gazelle porks? No, tarantula porks. Nice.
And
A little bit
yes.
expensive, but actually that melee is going to come really in handy
Oh, no, but there's
against
some
gazelles.
porcupines from Fate are going to come in. And I think they're going to shred through these if you can just micro a little bit off the workshop and go for the units. And there he goes, as if he heard me.
Hello.
But this did allow Paul to get some extra units in.
But they were just taken out and shredded right away. Anto
More
still
chambers
not
coming
building
up.
any units right now.
Oh, I think he was waiting for a water chamber because he is building units
Oh, yeah, that's true.
from both chambers. What are these? Are these
And
anglerfish warthogs?
Fate has been
Nice.
doing a great job of using this attack as a distraction for his expansion into mid. Fate now the only person in mid. This is going to be really strong and really hard to defend. Pollock is coming out and successfully defending against the units pretty handedly. Actually, these spiders are doing really well. But here comes
Yeah,
Joseph at level 3, frenzying for extra speed with these ram piranhas.
that's interesting. Will they regain enough endurance to use another frenzy?
I don't think they will. Not anytime soon, at least.
I think it's minimum 30% endurance to use frenzy
Yeah.
again.
Oh
So they
well, there
actually
it
do.
is. There it is. Yeah. It was
Oh, that's
very short burst, but he was able to do it, and it worked. And it just took those out so quickly.
oh, and the range unit's getting hung up on the workshop again. We might see these tarantula porks actually take down some of these rams.
Yeah.
This is going to buy us some good time. We just really need to see Ante making more henchmen. As with Paul, actually, they've both got an expansion point, but by not having enough hench mining them, you're really limiting the amount of coal that you can actually generate.
Pollock building an air chamber from the air. How poetic.
You gotta love things like that, don't you?
Yeah, I really do.
Yeah, you're just looking around, and Fate's done a really good job securing 2 mid generators. His base generator doesn't actually have either his base gen or his safe gen. Does have 3 expansions there. And
Yeah,
he's
this
putting
is
some serious pressure.
this is looking very similar to the last game, where we have a lot of map control by Team Africa and not as much, quite at least by Team France. They are doing a little bit better, but they still don't have enough henchmen. While they do have some map presence, there's just no henchmen there.
I love these wolf anteaters though. These are something I used to use.
Oh,
Very
those are
nice.
pretty nice. Yeah, I do want to use wolf a little bit more in some of my armies, and I think this could be a nice addition. Wolf anteaters. And there are a lot of them coming out from Paul IC. And who's that hitting level 4? Was that Fate?
Pollock also making Raven Hercules beetles over at his generators to the west.
Oh, wow. That could be very scary. He's got 3 of these air chambers up that can produce a lot of units. I don't think he has the economy to support all 3 chambers, but it's still going to do some damage. And Anto's going level 3, building some air chambers as well. Still needs more resources. I really would like to see some henchmen come out from him.
A lot of octopus frogs coming in now
Yeah.
from Fate. Fate's done a really good job with his economy. I'm actually really impressed.
Yeah. Very
Controlling
strong
all of
map
them now.
control. Joseph halfway to level 5.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah, that's going to be
I
really
suppose with
big.
Fate being able to take all this early game pressure, it has meant that Joseph has just been able to tech up.
Yeah.
And even all of his units look to be fully upgraded. I was clicking those Ram Piranhas earlier. Fully upgraded. He has more south by his expansion. Huge attack now of the frogs against the wolf anteaters as well.
The wolf
Getting
anteaters,
the
I
wolf
think, are
right on
winning.
top.
Yeah. They just had the better attack arc.
They'll also do more damage with the pack hunter activated.
Mm-hmm. And I'd like to see some focus fire come out from them, though, or else they're going to lose against these frogs. Ooh, it's not looking good.
No, he is able to reinforce. 4 more coming. And there's Joseph's 5.
And a lot more ram piranhas coming in from Joseph as well.
Good amount of flyers and units from Anto are being produced, but he just needs to go and help his teammate Paul.
Yeah,
He
Paul
is doing
taking
that.
a lot of damage. Anto coming in, trying to save the day, but this is just not going to be enough, these level 2s. And I'd really like to see something happen with all these flyers over on the left that Paul's been building over and over and over again. I maybe a lab rush or something like that. If he could take out and surprise Joseph with a lab rush, or Fate actually, that'd be huge, absolutely huge. Fate's not going level 4.
In most cases, I'd like to say Joseph would be the better target to take out first, but
Well, he has these air chambers right by his base, and so I have a feeling that if Pollux sends any of his flyers over, then they're just going to get shredded by these level 5 flyers. Or these level
and here's the Dragonfly Narwhals coming in.
Wow, these termites are built so quickly that there was absolutely no animation for them being built.
We love that.
No air chamber animation. That's very funny.
A lot of Infest coming. I wonder if they're going to infest the lab, because Infest does work through lab defense.
Does it
We
really?
did see both players. Yeah, it does. And both players were using lab defense that last game. So we could see these buildings go down much quicker if the investors in. Huge attack now coming in from Africa.
Oh, and there's the infest.
A lot of infest onto that lab. Looked like about 10, 15 units there went and infested the lab. Not the
Yeah.
most efficient way. Infest doesn't stack, unfortunately.
Yeah, so it's still going to only do 1500 damage to this lab at maximum.
Oh, and there's so many flyers on the map, and you just really want to see Anto and Pollock save themselves, because they can. They definitely have the units to at the
I
moment.
think he must have just forgotten about all these over here. But here come the little 5 flyers from Joseph.
And no anti-air towers up anywhere.
Mm-mm. These labs are going to get shredded very much like last time, I think.
Looks like it. The infest has worn off on Pollock's lab.
Only doing about 500 damage there, actually.
Maybe.
I think it reduces. It's still the damage must be reduced to 1 damage per second, maybe.
Possibly. I'd have to look into that a little bit more. Without saying anything. Pollock is producing more henchmen though. The flyers are moving in slightly on the west side and in middle as well. So it looks like they're going to go and attack something, but like the old adage says, this might be too little, too late.
Yeah.
Both bases completely overrun.
Oh, it looks like they're actually meeting up together on the left side. All these flyers.
They're going to have to lab rush. They're going to
Yeah.
have to take out one of, maybe both of the players. That is possible.
Yeah, it is possible.
If they focus on
But
Joseph first, probably
Joseph
flyers.
has all these flyers at home. I don't think it's possible.
It is if they take Joseph's lab first.
Oh.
I think they can just do enough damage. Oh, and the lab defense was so quick from Joseph.
Yeah.
What a play. What a play. Anti-air towers now coming down by Fate.
And Fate's lab is exposed, and he has level 5.
And he's researched level 5, yeah.
Yeah, so he can't use lab defense right now. Yeah. Well, I think that these flyers are going to get taken out.
Oh, he could use lab defense.
No, he canceled it. You have to click the lab again.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. It still didn't matter. I mean, he was getting one-shotted by these, the Luftwaffe.
Yeah, the Dragonfly Narwhal, not Mantis.
Yeah.
And that's Anto down, and Paul calling GG.
Mm-hmm.
Choruses of GG going around in chat.
Wow, congratulations to a really strong showing by Team Africa. And it looks like we have now not all three, I guess 3 of the French teams that we've seen play so far are now going to be in the losers brackets, all kind of together. So we're going to see a lot of France games coming up. And Africa next is going to have to play Sweden, which is going to be a very tough matchup for them because Sweden, as we know, has some very strong players with Impossible Toast and Elias. And that game is going to be on, what is it? Crag? Yes.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really exciting. I think it might end up favoring Sweden a little bit because Elias, as we know, is very, very strong early game, whereas Joseph is known for being strong very late game. So
That being said, we have seen a good showing from Fate early game.
yes.
So I think it really comes down to, can Fate step up to Elias? Can he keep pace with Elias? Can Joseph support in the same way that Toast is likely to support? It is going to be a different question asked of Africa when they play Sweden than it was against France. But I look forward to it. It will be an interesting game.
Yeah, certainly.
Where does this place Africa in the bracket? Let me go and check that for you. France.
Oh, France! It places them against France-1. So France-3 versus France-1. Epic showdown, the Civil War.
France-2.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's going to be a lot of inter-French fighting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, definitely. So let's quickly try to talk to the teams. Try to bring them in here. Hey, how's it going? Joseph?
Don't even.
Yeah.
Hey.
How's it going, guys? How do you feel about that?
Joseph Fate?
Bad. Terrible. I feel fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I played so bad during that game.
Really? We thought you played really well.
Yeah, very impressed by your gameplay.
I was under so much stress. If they rushed me at all, I'd have been dead. The second game, I mean.
I enjoy watching the replay if you watch this game back. I think you played very well.
Yeah.
More credit.
But
Yeah.
for Team France, I give them one thing. That lab rush with the Flyers was sneaky. Well done.
Was sneaky, and it nearly came off. Both of you were very, very quick on lab defense.
Yeah, but I had Flyers in my base anyway.
In my opinion, Joseph carried hard.
Well, I think
you carried the first game.
Oh, Joseph, you carried. So
wow,
hard.
this is such sweet partnership and love between teammates. Both of them are clearly working together very well. So great job, two of you.
Joseph is an absolute joy. I'm not gonna lie.
Ah, wonderful.
We're
also
we have France-3.
Well done, France.
Yeah.
Bien joué.
How do you guys feel?
Hi, YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
France-3 is now going to be up against France-1. That's going to be Fiend and Funky. How do you guys feel about that matchup coming up?
That matchup on France versus France. You talking about that?
Wait. Are we facing France again?
No. That's going to be France versus France. Joseph, you guys are going to be playing Sweden next.
Oh, fingers crossed.
Easy.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Team Africa, and good luck to everyone on their next games.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck.